thin crack runs along the glass. You notice it, then look away. Some flaws are easier to keep, then start again and clear the frame. The napkin bears a line you wrote, then crossed out till it blurred to gray. You fold it small, then change your mind, and leave it where it might be read. A door down the hall shuts too hard. The echo travels, then dissolves. You wait as if it might return, but silence settles where it stops. Your coat still carries colder air from somewhere you have yet to name. You keep it on a little while, then take it off without a reason. You ask me if I've been here long. I say I might have lost the time. We both pretend that answers matter, though neither one of us believes it. When you step out, the street is bare. No passing lights, no turning heads, and something in the quiet dark feels like it's always been this way. The brass rail holds the day's last heat. You test it with the back of your hand, then rest there longer than you meant, as if it might remember you. A paper bag beside your chair breathes open with a quiet fold. You look inside, then close it up without deciding what you saw. The ice is melted in the glass, a dull ring circling the base. You lift it once, then set it down, and watch the water find its place. Across the room, a calendar still shows a month already gone. No one has turned the page ahead. It hangs like something left on hold. You say you'll take the longer way, though both of us know where it leads. Some routes are chosen not to arrive, but just to keep from ending here. When you step out, the street is still, a single light above the bend. You walk beneath it without pause, and carry something you won't name. A faint chalk line along the bar, half erased by someone's sleeve. You trace it once without a thought, then stop before it disappears. The ceiling fan shifts into place after missing one slow turn. You match your breathing for a while, then let it fall out of the rhythm. A glass arrives you didn't order, set down where your hand had been. You move it slightly to the side, as if it might explain itself. A scarf is caught beneath the chair. You pull it free, then hesitate. It isn't yours, you leave it there, arranged like it had never slipped from somewhere close. A laugh breaks off, too quick to belong to anyone. You listen past it just in case, but nothing follows where it went. When you step out into the dark, your shadow lingers near the door, not waiting, just a step behind, before it settles into yours. A thin line of lipstick on the rim, not quite yours, but close enough. You turn the glass a quarter turn, and leave it where it almost was. The register lets out a sigh, a drawer that won't shut clean tonight. Someone taps it once, then twice, and gives up trying to make it right. A folded map inside your coat, edges soft from being held. You open it, then close it back, like every road is somewhere else. From further down, a shutter slips halfway, then hangs without a reason. You watch it longer than you should, until it feels like part of you. You say you'll call when you arrive, but neither of us asks you where. The kind of promise made to fade before it's even fully there. When you step out, the air feels still, not colder, just less inclined. And something in the way you go leaves nothing clear to look behind. A receipt is tucked beneath the plate. Ink faded where the numbers ran. You turn it over, blank on back, like something left without a plan. A chair leg scrapes against the floor, then settles into quieter ground. You glance as if it called your name, but no one's claimed the empty sound. Your sleeve catches a drop of light from somewhere just outside the frame. You brush it off without a thought. It lingers there, but not the same. A glass is set where one had been, no memory of who replaced it. You lift it slightly, feel the weight, then let it rest before you taste it. You say you'll leave before it's late, but never say what late might mean, as if the hour could decide without being clearly seen. When you finally cross the door, the room forgets you in a breath, and everything resumes its place, like nothing paused to mark your steps. A thin draft slips beneath the door, lifting the corner of a page. You press it down, then let it rise, like it prefers to move that way. The ashtray's clean, though no one asked. You turn it once, then back again, a habit learned from someone else. You never meant to keep this long. There's chalk along the edge of noon, still faint from something wiped too fast. You rub it off across your thumb, then lose the mark without a thought. A jacket draped across the back still holds the shape of someone gone. You almost move it, then decide it sits exactly as it should. You say the room feels slightly off, not wrong, just not the way it was, as if a detail shifted place, while no one thought to look too close. When you step out into the dusk, the air meets you without a sound, and something in the way it holds suggests you've been expected here. catching more wall than any face. You shift it just a fraction back, then leave it slightly out of place. A glass clinks softly in the sink. Someone forgot to turn it dry. You reach, then stop before your hand decides it has to interfere. A matchbook rests beside your sleeve, one corner bent, initials worn. You flip it open, count the sticks, then close it without taking one. Outside, a bus exhales and waits, its doors half open to the curb. No one steps on, no one calls, it lingers longer than it should. You say the street looks unfamiliar, though nothing's changed since yesterday. Like something subtle moved aside without asking to be seen. When you finally walk away, your pace adjusts without intent, and in the glass you pass along, you don't quite recognize your shape. A thin crack runs across the tile. You follow it from wall to door. It doesn't lead to anywhere, but you keep tracing it once more. The kettle settles into quiet after failing once to sing. You tilt it just to hear the shift of water finding level ground. A jacket hangs without a hook, balanced where it shouldn't stay. You watch to see if it will fall. It doesn't, and you look away. From down the block a shutter drops, metal meeting, metal slow. You count the seconds in between, then lose the number as it fades. You lift a match, then change your mind, let it fall back in the box. Some things aren't meant to be lit if no one's there to watch them burn. When you step out, the street feels still, not empty, just without a need. And somewhere in the quiet dark, your footsteps choose a different pace. A faint perfume along the air, not yours but close enough to stay. You glance around, then let it pass, like something borrowed for a while. Her menu bends along its spine. You trace the crease without a reason. Names you won't remember later still feel familiar in your mouth. A glass is chipped along the side. You turn it where it won't be seen. Small things you learn to overlook when nothing else demands repair. The door swings once, then settles back. No one arrives, no one leaves. You listen to the hinge complain, then fade into the usual hush. You say it's colder than before, but don't reach for the coat beside you, as if the chill might keep you here a moment longer than you planned. When you finally stand to go, your shadow lingers on the wall, and for a second stays behind before it follows where you've been. A thin line of steam lifts from the sink, then vanishes before it turns. You rest your sleeve against the edge and watch the water lose its heat. A photograph inside your bag, edges worn, the color's gone. You take it out, then slide it back without deciding what it was. The chair across from you stays still, pushed in untouched, perfectly square. You nudge it slightly with your foot, then leave it almost as it was. From somewhere up along the street, a window closes soft but clear. You pause as if it meant something, then let the moment pass you by. You reach to check the time again, but stop before your wrist is turned, like knowing won't improve the hour or change the way it slips away. When you walk out into the dark, your steps don't echo like before, and in the space you leave behind, nothing quite settles back in place. The ceiling hums above the lamps, a low electric kind of sleep. You lean back just enough to hear what silence sounds like in between water marks the wood. You turn the glass to hide the shade, then turn it back without a thought, as if it matters where it stays. Your voice arrives a second late, like it had somewhere else to be. You stop halfway through what you said and let the rest dissolve unseen. A coat is left across the rail. No one comes back to claim it now. You glance at it, then look away. Some things are easier unnamed. The streetlight flickers through the pane. A shadow moves, then disappears. You watch until there's nothing left but light returning to its place. When you step out, the door stays wide for just a moment more than usual. And in that pause, the room holds on to something it can't quite release. The espresso cools untouched, a bitter trace along the rim. You watch the steam disappear, like it was never meant to last. A suitcase leans against your chair, too small for anything you'd keep. You rest your foot against its side, as if to say you might not go. The radio shifts between two songs. Neither one comes in quite clear. You leave it there, that in between, where nothing fully takes its shape. A stranger pauses at the door, looks in, then turns without a reason. You follow him just with your eyes, then lose him somewhere in the street. You tell me you remember this, not tonight, but something close. The way a place can echo back a life you almost thought was yours. When you finally lift your coat, the room adjusts around the space, and I can't tell if anything was here before you walked away. A thin receipt beneath your glass, curls at the edge from dampened rings. You smooth it once, then let it go, as if it held a better answer. A taxi idles at the curb, meter ticking out of sync. The driver taps along the wheel, then stops, as though he's changed his mind. You say the place was brighter once, before they dimmed the second row. I look and try to picture it, but only see it as it is. Your watch has slipped along your wrist. You don't correct it, let it hang, like time might move a little less if it's not fastened in its place. A glass is taken from our table, another set where it had been. No one asks if we are done, they seem to know before we do. When you step out, you don't look back, not even at the closing door. And something in the way you leave makes everything feel slightly late. The neon sign across the street flickers once, then settles in, a color that won't quite decide between a glow and giving out. You keep your gloves upon the table, not wearing them, not putting them away, as if your hands might choose a place if left alone a little longer. A glass door opens to the night, cold air slipping through the room. You turn as though you heard your name, but no one's looking back at you. There's chalk dust on the window frame from something written, then erased. You brush it off without a thought. It clings a moment to your sleeve. You say you'll only stay a while, then shift your weight. Don't move to leave. The kind of pause that gathers time without deciding what it means. When finally you step outside, the street feels softer than before. And somewhere in the quiet dark, a light goes out you didn't see. thin blue flame beneath the pot ticks softly as the water warms. You rest your palm against the glass to feel the night from where you are. 2 tickets tucked inside a book. No date, no place you recognize. You turn them over once or twice, then slide them back between the pages. A bicycle leans by the door, one tire worn along the edge. You say you meant to fix it soon, then shrug as if it isn't yours. The ceiling fan clicks out of time. A slow, uneven metronome. You match your breath to where it falls and miss the beat on purpose. Someone calls a name outside, not yours, but close enough to turn. You listen till the sound is gone and keep your gaze upon the street. When you leave the light. A small, deliberate mistake. So when you pass again someday, it looks like nothing ever changed. The handle turns without a sound. You push it slow, then let it rest, as if the door might choose for you whether to open or to close. A glass is left beside the sink, lipstick fading at the edge. You rinse it once, then set it back among the ones that look the same. There's dust along the piano keys. You press one down, it rings too bright, then softer, like it changed its mind before the note could fully stay. Your name appears on something small, a receipt you almost threw away. You fold it into something thin and slip it where it won't be found. The chair is angled toward the wall, not quite where anyone would sit. You straighten it, then turn it back the way you must have left it once. The air feels thinner than before. You take a breath that doesn't land and keep on going anyway. The waitress moves the chairs too soon, when legs still scraping through the quiet. You lift your glass but don't quite drink, as if the moment needs delaying. A napkin folded into lines, you crease it once, then once again, until it's something small enough to hide between your fingertips. From somewhere down the corridor, a door keeps closing on its own. No draft, no voice, just that soft sound, repeating like a second thought. You ask me if it's getting late, but neither of us checks the time. The clock is stopped above the shelf, and no one's bothered fixing it. You reach to take your coat, then pause, like something caught you unaware. Not memory, not quite regret, just something left without a name. When you step out, the street feels wrong, too wide, too clear, too quietly lit. I stay behind a moment more, until your absence settles in. A train slips under distant stone, its rumble climbs into the room. You pause mid-sentence, then forget what it was you meant to prove. The sugar jar is chipped and thin. You turn it so the crack won't show. Small habits no one asks about, but everyone learns not to break. A newspaper lies face down, yesterday still on the page. You read the headline upside down and say it doesn't matter now. Your hair still smells like winter rain, though skies have cleared for hours. You tuck it back behind your ear, then let it fall without a thought. We leave the bill between us both, neither reaching for the end. as if by not deciding who, the night might stretch a little more. Outside, a cyclist passes slow. His light sweeps once across your face, and everything returns to dark, except the place you used to be. The chalkboard still recalls your drink, though someone wiped the price away. The smudge remains where letters were, like something almost said aloud. You counted coins into your palm, then pushed them back into your coat, as if the night could be postponed by leaving nothing settled yet. A violin from down the street cuts through the clatter, thin and worn. You tilt your head, then shake it off. Not every sound is meant to stay. Your gloves lie folded by the plate, one finger torn along the seam. You laugh and say it's nothing much, then hide your hands beneath the table. The lights above begin to buzz, a warning more than any word. You stand before the changes made and smooth the crease from yesterday. I watch the door close quietly, no bell this time, just air displaced. And on the glass your breath remains, a moment longer than your name. The bell above the door complains each time someone comes or goes. You trace the rim of an empty glass, like it might tell you something else. A postcard curls beneath your thumb, the ink has bled into the sea. You never said who wrote it first, or why you kept it this long. There's music leaking from the back, a tune that doesn't quite resolve. You hum along, then lose the line, as if it never wanted words. Your scarf slips loose across the chair. You leave it there, don't turn around. The street outside is slick with light, cars passing like a second thought. I stay until they close the place, until the silence feels complete. And in the mirror by the bar, There's one less shadow left to keep. The window fogs where your hand had been. A shape that fades before it's seen. Outside, a tram hums past the square, dragging the night through thinning air. You said the place had changed its name, but everything still felt the same. The clock behind the counter stalls, then stutters back between its calls. I watch you fold the papers slip into the lining of your coat, like something small you couldn't keep, but couldn't bear to leave exposed. The match is struck, then quickly gone. No cigarette, just borrowed light. You smile as if it all made sense, then let it fall without a fight. Chairs are stacked and lights go dim. We step outside, but not together. Your footsteps echo once, then twice, and disappear into the weather. You chose the chair that faces out, where passing lights don't linger long. Your coat still holds the evening air, like you were never meant to stay. A spoon turns slowly in your cup, though there's no sugar left to stir. The waiter wipes the same glass twice, pretending not to notice us. I almost asked you where you'd go, but something in your silence stopped me, like hearing footsteps down a hall and knowing they won't turn your way. The record skips, then carries on, a voice too soft to make things clear. You fix your sleeve, avoid my eyes, as if that might undo the hour. When you stand up, the room feels wide, like something's missing from the frame. No words, just coins left on the table, and one chair pulled too far away.
There's a cup gone cold beside your hand. You said you'd leave, but here you stand. The door half open, street lights blur. Someone laughs, but not for us. A radio hums behind the bar. Some distant voice, a broken star. I trace the ring your glass has made on this old wood that time won't save. You look away like you might stay, like something's left you couldn't say. No music now, just quiet air, and everything we didn't share. If this is all we let it be, a night that slips too easily, then let it fade without a sound, before the morning finds us out. If this is all we let it be, a night that slips too easily, then let it fade without a sound, before the morning finds us out. A thin line of steam lifts from the sink, then vanishes before it turns. You rest your sleeve against the edge and watch the water lose its heat. A photograph inside your bag, edges worn, the color's gone. You take it out, then slide it back, without deciding what it was. The chair across from you stays still, pushed in untouched, perfectly square. You nudge it slightly with your foot, then leave it almost as it was. From somewhere up along the street, a window closes soft but clear. You pause as if it meant something, then let the moment pass you by. You reach to check the time again, but stop before your wrist is turned, like knowing won't improve the hour or change the way it slips away. When you walk out into the dark, your steps don't echo like before, and in the space you leave behind, nothing quite settles back in place. The ceiling hums above the lamps, a low electric kind of sleep. You lean back just enough to hear what silence sounds like in between. A ring of water marks the wood. You turn the glass to hide the shape, then turn it back without a thought, as if it matters where it stays. Your voice arrives a second late, like it had somewhere else to be. You stop halfway through what you said and let the rest dissolve unseen. Coat is left across the rail. No one comes back to claim it now. You glance at it, then look away. Some things are easier unnamed. The streetlight flickers through the pane. A shadow moves, then disappears. You watch until there's nothing left but light returning to its place. When you step out, the door stays wide for just a moment more than usual. And in that pause, the room holds on to something it can't quite release.